Hello, and welcome to our 101 Beginner Species Creation Guide. Again, this is a Beginner 101 guide, so I assume you're playing either your first game or one of your first games, and that you know nothing. So you're just looking for a quick rundown and some basic tools and tips to help you get going. So that is what I am going for. 75% of this is just cosmetic. Doesn't matter what you pick, just have fun with it. Pick what you want. Alright? Major things that affect the mechanics of the game are traits, which is basically what is your species good at, what is it bad at. Origin, how did your species get to the galactic stage. And government and ethics, which is basically traits for your empire. What is your empire good at? What is it bad at? That's it. Right? Minor effects. Homeworld, name and class, has a small mechanical effect, but it is minor. You can still pick whatever you want. And appearance. Now, for most of this, I say pick anything. The exceptions are Lithoid adds a trait. Thank you. Lithoid adds a trait that mechanically affects the game. Pop growth speed and assembly speed, so avoid that for your first few games. And machines, where are you? Change what you can pick, and you reduce the amount of trait points you can get. So avoid that for your first few games. Otherwise, anything is good. We're going to go ahead and pick these elephant boys. Species name, doesn't matter. Name list, whatever you want. Again, purely cosmetic. Take your time with it. Traits, however, do affect the game in a mechanical sense. Traits are just what your species is good or bad at. You'll notice you start with 2 trait points and a total of 5 picks overall. Every time you pick one, it either costs points or add points and reduces the amount of picks you have left. Honestly, did they do a great job balancing these? Pick whatever you want. These ones are grayed out because they're locked to the plantoid species. If you want to use these, pick the plantoid species. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to go over them one by one. However, take your time. You notice I can hover over them. And it's telling you right here how each one affects, mechanically, the game. This one allows more trade value. This means you have more planets you can settle. This one means your level cap goes up on leaders. Less empire sprawl you have to worry about. Again, you can honestly make whatever you want. They do a great job of balancing. The exception, I will say, is slow learners. The negative 25% leader experience gain, even with tech, is so hard to overcome that I avoid taking at all costs. Everything else you can make up with tech. Excuse me. So, don't worry about it. But slow learners is such a, if it were minus 10%, fine. But it is such a large negative, I would say avoid it. My suggestions for your first game are intelligent, thrifty, and quick learners. And then for negatives, quarrelsome and unruly. Boom. You zero out. Now we can go on. If I don't zero out, see? Look, it's in the red. It will not let me create the species. So keep that in mind. That's name and class. Again, doesn't matter. Just all this is, alright, I'm on frozen planets. When I go out into the world and the universe, galaxy, this is what I'm looking for to settle. Eventually you get the tech to settle whatever you want. So in the long run, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take Savannah. The one minor effect this has is that frozen planets generally have the most mineral districts. Wet planets generally have the most food districts. Dry planets generally have the most energy districts. That's it. But it is such a minor mechanic. I'm talking 1-2%. and you get tech and that sort of thing. It honestly doesn't matter. Pick what you want. Between origin to the appearance, again, cosmetic, pick whatever you want, whatever appeals to you, it's all good. Now, origins and government ethics. I will say this, there are some origins that require specific government and ethics. There are no government and ethics that I am aware of, and I haven't played them all, I freely admit that require specific origins. Now, there's nothing wrong with bouncing back and forth, that's okay. But I usually choose my government and ethics first, and then my origin. Okay? So mechanically, ethics, just like traits define what your species is good at, or bad at, ethics define what your empire is good or bad at. You want to be good at fighting? Take militarist. You want to be good at making friends and not having to worry about building up? Take pacifist. Keep in mind, they cancel each other out. Okay? So if I take militarist, I can't take pacifist. It goes away. Also keep in mind, you only get 3 points total. So you can have a 2 ranking in one and a 1 in the other. Or 3-1. The benefit to going to extreme is it usually unlocks unique civics. These are things your empire is particularly good at. Okay, but for your first game, I recommend 1 point in Xenophile, 1 point in Materialist, and your choice, either Egalitarian for the influence gain and resource output, or Militarist for the ability to claim systems faster and increase in fire rate. Your choice. It's up to you. All good. I also recommend Democratic. Okay? For your first few games, I recommend staying away from Corporate, Hive Mind. In order to do those, you have to select this middle one. And Machine Intelligence, because they affect the game in such major ways that you're not going to learn everything you need to learn. I do recommend the Democratic Authority. You can go Oligarch. Again, up to you. It honestly doesn't matter. If you go Imperialist... Oh, we can't. Ah, see? Oh, weird. You do, like, Materialist... There we go. If you go this route, you get... It just like, it adds an edict. Again, smaller empire sprawl. Again, minor things. Well-balanced. Really doesn't have that major impact. But I recommend trying to go Democratic for the auto-resettle chance, and so you can take Beacon of Liberty. Because it's a very powerful civic, especially for beginners. My other suggestion is Masterful Crafters. This is just a good one all the time. Again, these are all balanced. Just take your time, read what they do. They're all very well balanced. You can pick whichever ones you want truly. But these are the ones I recommend for your first game or two. Okay? Just so you learn the mechanics. Again, and then after this... Oh, wait. And then Origins. For Origins... They do affect mechanics of the game. They do can affect have major effects on the game. Like, Scion means you're automatically a vassal for a fallen empire, which means you're very limited in what you can do diplomatically. Doomsday means your planet's going to explode, you have to get off the planet, that sort of thing. For your first, again, just take your time, read what they do. This civilization has made it for maintain records, and you live on orbital habitats. Start with 3 orbital habitats, that sort of thing. This one you start on a shadow. They tell you what they do. Take your time, read them. For beginners, I recommend Prosperous Unification, Post-Apocalyptic, Remnants, Galactic Doorstep, On the Shoulders of Giants, or Lost Colony. Because it literally is, alright, just click it and go, no major mechanical effect on the game, and you can just learn the mechanic. The other one I might recommend is Mechanist. Alright? You start the game with robots, it's not a major advantage, but it could be construed as an advantage. It can affect how other empires see you. So despite the fact you're starting with robots, it's not a major advantage because some empires will hate you. Because with the ones I've suggested, you don't have to design a new species, you're not limited to specific planets, empires aren't going to hate you because you picked them, nothing like that. You can just pick them and go. I'm going to choose Prosperous Unification for this particular species. And that is the 101 rundown. Okay? So again, for anything in this game, just hover over it, read what it does, take your time, design the empire you want, that you want to have fun with. For your first game or two, I recommend Intelligent, Thrifty, Quick Learners. And then for negatives, Quarrelsome and Unruly. For Homeworld, whatever you want. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Pick the one you want to play. Experiment with it. For Origins, Prosperous Union, Post-Apocalyptic, Remnants, Galactic Doorstep, On Their Shoulders Are Giants, or Lost Colony. All just select and go and have fun with it. So those are the ones I recommend. For Government and Ethics, again, you can truly pick whatever you want, but for learning the game, I recommend 1 point in Xenophile because of the trade value and the extra envoy for diplomacy. Materialist because of the research. 1 point in Materialist for the research speed. And 1 point in either Egalitarian for the influence gain and the resource output, or Militarist for the claim influence in ship fire rate. If you can't do Beacon of Liberty, pick whichever one you want. Whichever one looks good to you, it's not going to matter. But if you go Egalitarian, you can do Beacon of Liberty, which is very good for beginners. So ideally, either one works, but this is what you want to go with. And then after that, it's just cosmetic. Choose whichever ones you want. Design the flag, whatever you want. Pick whichever ships look cool to you. It's all good. Have fun with it. You're the one playing the game. Play the way you want to. That is the important part. Thank you very much for joining me for this admittedly longer than I would like, but necessary 13 or so minute video. Again, this has been Species Creation 101 Beginners. Keep that in mind. As always, until we see each other again, and I hope you watch this video and others like it, remember to be kind to one another. See ya! Hello, this is Gohan the Chinchilla, and we hope you're having a good day, as do I. As always, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to follow, like, subscribe, or comment. Or, even better, come on over to twitch.tv/SparkyTDK and watch me live every Monday through Friday. Thank you for your support.